In 2019, a crack unit of makers was assembled in order to help each other master new skills and techniques. If you have a problem, if no one else can help, and if you can find them, maybe the A-Team can answer your questions on the Almost Star Wars podcast. Oh wait, I don't have to echo. Sorry.
Hey guys, well, welcome back to the Almost Star Wars podcast. This is episode 3 already. I know, crazy. And we're going to be going through our normal stuff that we do each week, including some really cool topics for you this time. I'm James from the Rebel Base Build, and I'm here with my friends.
I'm Ron, otherwise known as CG-RTist.
Dennis from the Black Market Outpost.
And I'm Dave White, or Whitey from Whitey's Wicked Workshop.
Wow, guys, that was as if it was practiced. It was brilliant. Okay, so the first topic is all about the females of Star Wars and which ones stand out for us, which do we prefer, what's our favorite females in the Star Wars films. There's quite a few of them. So I'll start. I quite like Jan Erso, or Jyn Erso, however you pronounce that. She, to me, was just a really interesting character. We got to see her whole life on screen, from a young kid all the way through her struggles, all the way up to her death. Her very sad death on the beach. I think she had a very bit of a rough time. You know, she had a tragic storyline, and we got to see lots of different sides of her. And I thought that was great. And the fact that they managed to pack that all into one film was just brilliant. So yeah, other than the obvious knowing how she dies thing at the end, she for me, she stands out. Really good. Guys,
hey, James,
what about you?
They have her little doll at Disney that you could buy it. Remember that her little stormtrooper doll?
Oh yeah,
I could get that to remember her by.
Yeah,
thanks, Dave.
Pretty cool. You always talk about the sad stuff, James.
She was my favorite, my strongest. Okay. Maz Kanata has to be right. The way she just seeks people out and reads them. She's cool. And I've mentioned
Maz, yeah.
Nobody else was going to mention Maz, so yeah, Maz.
Yeah,
those eyes.
I liked her too.
Yeah.
I really love that part where she's fighting. Like, I don't know, they called her up on the phone.
Oh yeah,
or whatever.
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on, man? Hold on. She's got a jetpack on or something.
Although, who is filming it? Eh? She's got a good chase camera going on there.
Where'd you get the jetpack?
She just turned down her holocom and kept going, right?
That's it.
Yeah, I guess.
Right.
Aura Singh, I think I'm saying the name right. I don't know a whole lot about the character, except that she's got some pretty creepy fingers that, just kind of turns me. No, I'm just kidding. She's the, for those who don't know, she is the bald bounty hunter female.
With the aerial.
Yeah. So I don't know a lot about her, and I'm told that she's in the Clone Wars series and hangs out with Boba Fett and all. So as you guys know, James and I, or Dave and I, are catching up. We're playing the game of catch up and watching that series. So, but I'm eager to find out more about that female character. As far as strong characters, let's see. I don't want to pick one that someone else is going to pick. So let me think. I'd say Rose. I'm going to go with Rose. She seemed like a strong character, interrogating Finn and all, and then, and joining. And I mean, who else has rammed their ship into another person to try to save his life, So that's pretty, that's pretty brave of a person to do that. Even though, outside of the whole Star Wars universe, the internet kind of shamed her and all for nothing that was her fault. And that kind of sucks and is unfortunate,
Yeah, she was a great character. Good choice, Ron. She was a really good character. I enjoyed that storyline with her. Yeah. And I wish they'd carried on, and because it seemed like they cut her role down considerably in the following film, which was a shame. But
she seemed like such a sweet person too, like in real life. I don't know if you watched those. It was like a question and answer thing where they peel the paper off.
Yeah, I've seen that.
I've seen it. She seemed so sweet, and she was very pretty. In real life.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like she was needed for that supporting role. I couldn't picture anybody else filling that role.
Yeah,
not a character existing, or even if they try to bring a different type of character to that role. I think the way she played it, and for what that part was, I think it was almost a perfect casting.
And she was watching her post and didn't let what's his name? Finn Lee. She juiced him.
She was just doing her job.
No messing around.
And you know what else I thought was brilliant? The fact that they made her sister.
Yeah.
She's the bomber pilot that.
Yeah, and she had the part of the necklace, right?
Right.
Together.
She had the other part of the necklace.
Yeah.
I thought that was a great.
How that got
tie-in.
transferred, no one will know.
Well, she had one half and the sister had the other.
Yeah. Oh, is that what it was? There were two halves.
They fit together as like a yin and yang type thing.
Gotcha. Okay. I totally missed that.
It's a nice moment. It's like a symbolic thing, isn't it? A bit like Han Solo's dice, which for whatever reason became a symbolic thing. Even though
right, yeah,
you only see them kind of doing this in the original Star Wars films, but Star Wars is full of little things like that.
Yeah. Even though the Chapor snippet never made it there.
Someone is at the front door.
Thanks, Elixir.
Maybe it's Rose. Maybe she's come to say,
maybe it's Rose.
Maybe she has a Chapor snippet.
Get her on the show. Get her on the show.
Or a sing.
Yeah, exactly.
So my favorite character is both my favorite character and the strongest character in Star Wars. Ahsoka Tano.
Ah, okay.
Yes.
Legendary.
Yeah, we don't know who that is. We don't know her.
Much like Jen Erso, you can follow her entire lifespan from child all the way up into the Mandalorian.
Oh, is that in the Clone Wars series?
Yes.
Yeah, I get it. The
Clone Wars series is basically the story of Ahsoka Tano and Anakin Skywalker.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I couldn't think of an episode that doesn't have one of the two of them in it.
Yeah.
And
she's
I mean,
pretty agile in the first season. I think she was fighting with Asajj Ventress, and that was pretty cool.
Wow. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So in that first season, when they bring her aboard, she's right around the age of 12, I believe.
Wow.
Okay.
Doesn't Anakin call her Snips?
Snips, correct.
That's right. Yeah.
And she calls him Fly Guy or something like that.
Fly Guy, yeah.
How cute.
Sky Guy. Sky Guy.
That's it. Sky Guy.
So we get to watch her progression all the way through the entire series then, huh?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I mean, it carries right into Rebels.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So, and then from Rebels, you can actually dive into the book. I'm sorry, the book is pre-Rebels, and then it goes into Rebels, and then you can catch her also in The Mandalorian.
So that's where I first saw her. I mean, I knew of her, but
maybe before we're dead, we'll figure all this out.
Yeah.
But
we got to read books, Ron. What the hell?
You're so right, Dennis, though, in terms of her character, and it gets fleshed out so much in all of those episodes, and she has the advantage over the females in the movies that only have a limited time because of the fact that they're in films and not series. So you get to see her in all those different emotive situations and get to learn a lot about her in that respect. So yeah, good choice, man.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
How about you, Dave?
Yeah.
All right, for me, it's always going to be my favorite is Princess Leia, just because of the original films and kind of growing up with her, from when they were in the junk pile to just all the adventures they were on. So she's my favorite. Favorite scene? Probably when she had that outfit on Jabba's sail barge. Yeah. And she killed him. That was great.
The other favorite scene.
Yeah. No other favorite scenes come to mind?
Oh, no, I'm not mentioning that this time. No. You guys will all yell at me.
For those of you listening, it's that scene where she gets supposedly blown out of the ship and uses her Jedi powers for the first time on screen for us, and floats back into the ship.
Her
and I'm the only one in this group that likes that part.
Her built-in tractor beam.
Yeah,
it's growing on me.
That's growing on me.
All right, and as far as my strongest, I would have to say an evil chick, and that is Asajj Ventress. She seems pretty crazy, and she's a Sith. And I don't know who else stronger.
Asajj Ventress has a pretty interesting story too. You'll be able to follow her story because it actually carries on through the Clone Wars and into a book where she actually is in a relationship with a Jedi, Quinlan Voss. So she's not a Sith throughout her whole entire life.
Oh, wow.
Good stuff.
So a jolted lover turned her into a bad girl.
So yeah, if you guys are, I don't know if you're familiar with Quinlan Voss, but he's also been on both sides of the Force.
Oh yeah,
as well.
Okay.
he's the guy that kind of looks like a Native American guy, right?
Correct. He's got that very small 15-second appearance in Phantom Menace where he's sitting at that cantina table as they're walking to Watto's workshop.
Only reason why I know, I looked it up.
Yeah.
Now I have to look it up. Wow.
You know what? I've worked out why we call this the Almost Star Wars podcast. Is because these two guys, Ron and Dave, haven't watched all of the Clone Wars and Rebels yet.
We almost have.
Exactly.
Almost.
Exactly.
Started.
Hey, you know what?
So,
I vow I will have it finished by the time we get to episode. Crickets should be inserted right about now. Now, I would definitely, I think we both are eager to watch. I mean, as you know, time gets in the way.
Yeah.
We are definitely going to get through it.
So just to touch on the Quinlan Voss story real quick, Quinlan Voss was a Jedi who was sort of kind of like along the lines of Qui-Gon Jinn. He didn't quite follow all the rules, but they mainly used him as like a spy type. So he was always playing both sides of the fence. So he was
sympathize with the Empire, or
he would, because he would, he's the guy they would use to spy to find information out. So he would have to have he would have to be able to work with both sides.
So what was he really then?
He's a Jedi.
Oh, okay.
He's a Jedi.
Just an unconventional Jedi.
Yeah. He's like I said, he's along the lines of like a Qui-Gon Jinn, where he's a Jedi, but he's got a little bit of his own rules.
The next topic we were going to talk about is, look, we're all prop builders. Okay, that's kind of what brought us together, right? In the first place, we're building props and rooms and all sorts of things. But one thing that we touch upon quite a bit when we're talking to each other is how we prepare for that. What stages do we go through? What things do we do to get ready to build a prop? How does that look for everybody? I'll start because I've introduced the topic again, guys. So you've seen it in my videos, so I cover this quite a bit. I like to go back to pencil and paper. I've got some examples here. This is some scribbles you might recognize or maybe not, but this is my way of kind of getting the idea out from my head onto paper. You might recognize this was the crate build, the mechanical bits and stuff. And then the good old storage bin gonk droid. Yeah. So I do a lot of that. I do a lot of sketching and rubbing out, starting again, adding to, which seems really kind of low tech because of the.
I got a question for you, James.
Go on.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Sorry?
But I would have swore that you were more of a digital guy, because like we always see these awesome things that you do, and I would have thought that it would have been the other way around with you.
So I do, the digital part is definitely in there, but I still start with a sketch. But for some reason, I find it easy to just translate my idea. I find it relaxing as well. I don't find 3D modeling particularly relaxing anymore. I used to at one point. I kind of get a bit irritated when I'm modeling something. Whereas I don't get that with a pencil and paper. I just have a nice cup of tea, nice little dim light going on in the studio, and I just sketch it. And then when I'm happy with it, I will then go to 3D Max and model it, and from there generate my 2D plans and send them to the laser or send them to the 3D printer. But before the sketching, there's lots and lots of research, and I mean weeks of it. I will sit and freeze frame the movies or go to the websites that have all of the different screenshots. Every second there's a screenshot. I think they've done the whole lot now, and we'll put links to that in the description. And I also have loads of art books from the films, which are full of concept art, and I use those just to inspire myself. And I watch videos online. I watch what other builders are doing. So once I've got the idea, that's when I hit the pencil and paper, get the sketch sorted, and then I go into 3D Max and start building it. So that's what I do. What about you guys?
Nice.
Yeah. Much like you, James, I do the same thing. I sit there and, I sketch a whole bunch of stuff, decide what idea is going to work, spacing, sizing. Then I go and measure the space, and then I try to draw again. And it's only when I finally come up with an idea or have a drawing that, much like the one I'm showing on screen for you watching, it's something that looks kind of like Empire-esque with the oval shaped holes. When it gets to the repetition part, that's when I decide to go ahead and crack open Blender and just start working with it. And I still get quite the enjoyment from using the 3D app when it doesn't fight me, like I'm trying to do something and points, vertices and things get all out of whack, and then it becomes a chore versus, something that I enjoy. But for the most part, I enjoy both the process. And just like you, James, and what kind of messes me up and makes me lose a little bit of momentum is researching it. I'll research, and then I fall into this little trap where I'll go out and look at what other people have done. And then, the human side of me says, oh man, that's much better than what I was thinking. Or I'll see an idea that someone else has made, and I'll go, damn, why didn't I think of that? That's brilliant. I want to do that. Yeah. Then I'm going to, and then it's like,
there's always a better mousetrap, right?
Exactly. Exactly. So then I go back and try to draw something, but not quite copy, but then take elements from that or pictures from Pinterest or some various 3D sites. I look at video games, and so it's much the same progress.
Cool. So I'm not the only one that does it that way.
Yeah, no.
Good to hear.
I'll be honest, I'm a terrible artist. Can't draw at all. Can't do it. I think that I build very much visually. Like I can see things. I know what I want it to look like. Mm-hmm. I carry this around with me everywhere I go. So this is like my little notebook. And it does have drawings in there, but it's nothing you guys are going to want to see. Trust me. But the thing that I find odd about the fact that I do it visually is sometimes you think about it so much you forget what your initial idea was, which is why I carry the book around. So as soon as I get something that I'm like, even the slightest bit happy with, it goes in there as a note. Hey, this should look like this. This needs to be this direction, this color, so on and so forth. Yeah. I don't know if you guys, Adam Savage has a book out called Every Tool is a Hammer.
Yeah.
So he's got a chapter in that book about how he basically jots his ideas down, and he uses like a checkbox system.
Okay.
So he'll write an idea down, and if he's happy with the idea, he'll maybe, color the checkbox in halfway or a quarter way or however it works. And I think
I've done that too.
I sort of try to adapt that style to my book, but I still think it's very visual. And I do find myself that like when I'm building a prop, for example, the Tusken Raider mask, that was, I did not put any pen to paper, any ideas, nothing.
You just went for it.
I just went for it. The only thing I did in that aspect was the fact that I went online and I, printed out the skeletal structure of it.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, everything else, I just went for it. Just looking at off of pictures and stuff. I
was just going to ask, did you have any reference material that you would kind of?
Yeah, I mean, I referenced, I went back and I watched the Mandalorian episodes because there is quite a bit of difference between the Mandalorian Tuskens and what we saw in, New Hope.
Okay.
But other than that, I think my whole style is based on like visual, like what's going on in my head. I just try to get it out before I forget it.
What about like with your hands too? Any of that?
Hands too. Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
I'm the guy that's standing at Home Depot holding that part and like, waving my fingers in the air, trying to figure out, okay, it's got to curve this way and come back around. And yeah, I'm that guy.
Nice.
I think I'm kind of like that too, but I do draw stuff down. I'm a very, I take a lot of measurements. This is just for the cockpit, but I do very basic. But when I was doing the door, I wanted to make sure I knew what kind of design that my door was going to have. So that's when I started drawing, like, I must have had like 10 different styles of it. So for that, it worked. But I don't do it for everything. Like when I did the Frog Lady challenge, it was just pictures. I downloaded and printed a lot of pictures and just you probably even seen them on my videos where I had them taped to the wall. And when I walk by, I look at the pictures and it kind of just sunk in my head. And actually, when I was starting my theater, I was using a nailer with everything. And I would mess up so much that I hated it. And I had to pull everything apart.
Yeah.
So then I bought a DeWalt set and I started using screws. And now I just zip, rip the stuff apart, put it back together the way I like it. And sometimes it's easy. Sometimes I'm ripping it all apart because I hate it. You know,
Yeah. That's
how I am.
That's called a non-destructive workflow, isn't it? Something that you can go back a few steps without wrecking it too much.
Right.
I mean, using the screws, it's something you can step back a bit. Here's a question though for you guys. Do you think you could build if you didn't go through your normal steps? If you didn't do the things we've just described, do you think you could still just build your prop?
Yeah,
I think so, but it'll take longer.
Yeah, I've used the method that Dennis and Dave have done, where I just sit there and kind of visualize it in my head and think, okay, well, I know kind of what I want. And then the only time I'm using the pencil is to make marks on the actual wood or material. And then I go through and cut. And then it's the cuts that I make in the material or the way I've cut it or what I've cut that dictates the next part and the next part. And it's almost like a live puzzle that's ever changing, ever evolving.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like you guys have seen some of the lightsabers that I've done in the past. Some of those just start out as it's a solid aluminum tube and I make a cut, and from that cut something develops. There's no game plan, there's no visual, there's hey, I'm going to put this here and work from there on down. So
yeah,
the lightsaber was always there. You just had to find it.
You just had to find it. Carve it out. Carve it out.
Yep.
A lot of you guys had like a sketch fab thing for your room. And I remember when I first started my channel, Garland from Garland's Workshop or whatever was saying, man, I wish I had like some kind of picture, a CAD drawing so I knew where you were going with this. I guess it's hard for some people to visualize. And I wish I did. I wish I need to learn something to do that.
Yeah. Do you know what though? I did that in one of my earlier episodes. You might remember it. I did a green screen version where I inserted myself into the 3D environment.
I love that.
It was a cool thing to do, and it was done mainly more just to see if I could do it and make an episode out of it. But I did find after that the minute I did it, I time-stamped my design, and therefore it made it a bit harder to change it. I have changed it since then, of course. The bench looks totally different to what's in that video, but you're in danger once you decide, or once you make your CAD version, you've kind of time-stamped yourself and almost locked yourself into it, particularly if you've told people that's what it's going to look like I did. I have, as I said, I have since changed it around a bit and it's evolved, but it's one thing to think about.
Especially hopefully you can catch that early in the build. Now, as you know, I made my theater one way, and then later in the build, I was like, man, that's not really what I wanted at the back wall, which, still a series of videos to get it right.
Yeah.
So that's what's kind of taken me a little bit longer with this whole entrance area, why I haven't produced any videos, because I'm constantly changing it. And I'm at the point where I want it done and I'm just going to have to just go for it. And in the back of my mind, I just know, okay, well, if I don't like it, I know I can change elements of it. So I'm going a little bit slower pace than usual.
I do love that video when you're like this.
That brings up an interesting.
I know now.
Yep.
That brings up an interesting little question, though. Do you think that sometimes we as builders, especially if we're building for a video purpose, do you think we settle more than we would if we're not?
Definitely, just to get the video done.
In other words, I guess what I'm trying to say is, do you think we accept whatever's coming out more than we would if we were actually not building for a video?
I see what you mean by this. Yeah,
definitely.
It's an interesting question. I've always, people ask me this all the time. I mean, it's nice that people even feel that they want to ask me questions about the show, which is always good when someone pops up. But I always wonder if I wasn't filming it, would I still be building it? And hell yeah, of course I would be, because I'm building it for me. Does filming it change what you're building? Maybe it has for me a little bit. Maybe because you've put it out there and people have fed back, and then you, as a human being, you take that feedback on board and you make changes. That's why we don't have virtual backgrounds this week, because some people have mentioned that they prefer the real rooms. So we've listened to you guys. But going back to the props, it's like, does the fact that you're filming it mean the prop changes? And for me, I think it does a little bit, but also I try and treat the video as something that I would want to watch. So rather than it just be a complete, this is me cutting something, this is me gluing something, this is me sanding something, this is me painting something, that's all interesting. But I'll try and look for the key moments where something happens, where I'm bringing two pieces together and it's visually obvious what's happened. The change is clear from the thing before to the thing afterwards. And occasionally, if I've not captured it quite the right way, in the interest of the video, I might have gone back and just done that bit again, just so it's clear in the edit. So it's interesting, interesting sort of question.
It definitely makes it a little bit more time consuming.
Yeah,
because whereas if I didn't have the camera or the audience there, I would knock out so much because I wouldn't have to show what I did. I've just build and
boom, boom.
If anyone's like me, once you get in that garage and start, or wherever you're building, you don't eat, you don't drink, you're in this zone.
No, wait, you don't drink?
Not while I'm
drink down there.
Well, only when I operate power tools.
I completely agree with
everyone do.
That's like a given.
Yeah,
I completely agree with what both of you guys are saying. Like, I feel like when I'm building for video, I'm not necessarily building, I'm making a movie, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah, just like we were talking about earlier.
I could be building something and I'll be like, oh, well, that needs to be on video. So I stop, maybe I take it apart or go back a step, make sure the camera's in the right place, make sure this is going on, start the video, build that part again.
That's my biggest problem.
I don't know if you guys do it, but like, I have a habit where I will immediately go back and watch the scene.
Yeah, I do that too. Or
and if I don't like it,
exactly,
it's coming back apart and I'm building that same step, the fourth time.
They're never going to watch your videos the same now, are they, Dennis? They're going to watch it and thinking, I wonder whether this is the sixth or seventh time he's done this now.
Yeah. Well, when you're editing, that's when you're like, I really wish I would have gotten a shot of me painting that one thing or nailing that down. Shoot. And then you go and you unscrew the thing and then you set the camera up, get the angle, and like, all right, this is the scene I want. Look, I'm screwing this down and look how happy or angry I am. And then you go back to edit and you're like, yeah, that's it. That's how I want to. That's how
that looks good.
Yeah, exactly. And now you've wasted, instead of the 1 hour, you've wasted like 2 hours just to get the shot. So, that
my wife keeps telling me all the time. She's like, man, just stick all this money you're using and the time, we could have had that done already. I'm like, yeah, but it wouldn't look as cool as this, right?
Exactly.
And my doors wouldn't make that cool sound either.
That's right.
My wife just gives me, are you done with it yet? Can I come see? No, it's not ready. It's not quite there yet. No. When I first decided to do this, she was like, yeah, oh my God. And I'm like, no, it's gonna be cool. Let me show you. Nope, I don't want to see it. I don't. Just show me when it's finished. And I'm like, oh, okay. And she takes that approach now. She doesn't want to see the destruction. Thank God, because when I put that pocket door in and the whole wall was taken out, and I have a picture of that. It was devastating. I mean, it got to the point where I sat there and just was like, oh. What have I done? How am I going to fix this? I'm glad she didn't see that.
See, my missus gets involved quite a bit, and as you know, she's been in some of the episodes only by voice or the back of her head. I think in one scene, there's a little bit of comic relief at the end, but she puts up with so much, particularly the editing. The prop building doesn't bother her too much because I do most of my work in the middle of the night when, like I'm doing this podcast in the middle of the night, where the kids are asleep, missus is asleep or reading in bed. But whereas the editing, I tend to do it in the daytime or in the early evening. And she'll be like, are you still editing? You can't rush up.
Lock yourself in the office or whatever.
It takes so long.
Go to town.
So long.
Yeah.
Yeah. I try and get my wife involved. Like I'll do something. Honey, come down here and check this out. She'd be like, wow, that really looks good. I was like, thanks, honey.
You have to say
You
that.
did get her in one of your episodes, right? Didn't she pull up in the car when you blew the house up?
Yeah. Yeah, she was in that one. Actually, I think she helped me hang up the projector thing too on the wall.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Cool.
Today, as of this filming, we have to congratulate Dave. He has reached 1,000 viewers or subscribers on his YouTube channel. I just wanted to point that out real quick.
Yeah, good stuff.
Thanks,
well done,
Ron.
Dave.
Forgot about that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well done, Dave.
Congratulations,
Feels
Dave.
great, man. Feels great.
Okay, well, that was good fun. We had some pretty cool topics this week. So I enjoyed talking about them, and I'm pretty sure the boys did. There is a couple of bits left, but if you're watching this podcast, you can stay with us and see the prop of the week, which Dennis is going to be taking us through. Sadly, if you're listening to it, you're just going to have to get on over here and check us out visually. We will be putting some images and some more information about today's show on the website, and there'll be links for that, so you can check it out. But for now, that wraps things up. But before we go, we do have some really cool stuff in store in the next few episodes, and we're going to have our very good friend Cameron, who has been doing a lot of the artwork for us guys. He's going to be coming on as a special guest, which we're all really looking forward to. So that's coming up in the next couple of weeks. Okay, so thanks for joining us, guys. We're now going to go over to the visual segment of our show, and Dennis, take it away.
Prop of the week, guys. So one of my builds that I did a while back was a very simple one that actually requires no tools other than a roll of tape and a can of spray paint. And I'm sure you guys are all familiar with it because it's all over the internet and lots of people are doing it. This is a Kyber crystal chamber.
Yeah,
Right.
It's real simple, and these are very affordable. I mean, they're available on Amazon. They're available at Harbor Freight. They're available just about anywhere for usually under $10.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about it is especially if you're just getting into building, it doesn't require anything for your first build. I mean, you can buy spray paint at any hardware store, a roll of masking tape, any hardware store. And really all it is, a little bit of tape, a little paint job, and then you can end up with
It's really effective.
Ah, there you go.
a fairly simple first prop. And it's a great way to get started, really.
Because then you could weather it.
Yeah, I mean, you can weather it.
Pinstripe it.
You can pinstripe it. Like this particular one, I don't know if you can see inside of it, but I've actually added Jen Urso's Kyber crystal.
Yes.
Did it look like this before, Dennis?
It did.
Okay. And you just pull these things off.
So what I did was I removed those things, and on mine, I've actually got just Allen head screws in there.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Nice.
So it's now
To fill the holes, just to give it a look. Nothing.
Yeah.
And again,
Great.
it's just a matter of
And if people should wish to build something like this, Dennis, where could they go to find guidance on such a build?
there's a great video out there on the Black Market Outpost.
Really?
It's a wonderful how-to. It demonstrates taping. It demonstrates painting. Very
There's
easy
a
to
reason
follow.
why it's called the Black Market Outpost.
That's right.
nice.
Good. Well, I think we all agree that's a pretty awesome prop of the week. So far, we've had the slide viewers, the Patterson slide viewers last time, and now this awesome little prop. So I wonder who's going to be doing the prop of the week next time. Looking forward to that. Anyway, guys, that's it for this week. It's been a blast, and I've enjoyed hosting. Not sure who's going to host next time, but as you can see, we're taking it in turns. So thanks for joining us, guys. And we'll see you next time.